Hey guys, it is Monday the 4th. Tomorrow is voting day to vote for the president. Pick your president. November the 5th. That'll be tomorrow. It is 5 minutes to 8 p.m. on November 4th, which is a Monday. And boy, we had our time change this weekend. And so the clock went back an hour, which in my head means it is officially fall. And, this time change has really got me. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for some reason this year, the time change falling backwards has really just discombobulated me all kinds of different ways. Like, it's almost 8 o'clock at night, and I'm almost ready for bed. I'm so exhausted. It's crazy. But what I wanted to talk to you about was a couple of things that you guys can expect for the month of November, or the next couple days or weeks, depending on when I can get things done. I will be doing the November astrology sign here in the next couple of days, probably tomorrow, I think. I'm going to do another update on the outside, because today I went out and analyzed the yard and realized that the cactus was breaking its ring. So I pruned it. Yeah, I pruned it. If that's what we want to call it. I'll show you, I'll do a video tomorrow and show it to you. And if you've been watching my channel, you guys are definitely going to say, OMG, Jess, that was a prune, all right. But anyways, so I'll do that video. I do have a couple of things I still wanted to show you. One being the lucky bamboo there needs to be repotted because he's top heavy. And then we have, let's see, we have Hitchhiker here. You can see how he is not look like any of the other pruned bonsais. He is grown wild. So we're going to prune him. This little guy here, my amaryllis, and I can't move her much because the sunlight is actually holding her up. But I lopped off 2 of her leaves. And you can see here, she is discoloring. So, I watched a couple videos and looked up some information that I had in my saved information. Yeah, she's getting a little yellow on a couple of her leaves. So, she's either doing one of 2 things. She is either seasoning and going dormant for the winter, which means I will not be getting another pretty flower spike for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Or she's not getting enough sun, or she might just be hungry. But she got hosed off before I brought her in too. The other thing that I'm going to have on my list of things to get done here in the near future is Josephina. And I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do with her is I'm going to lop off her arms. She is a rubber plant like Joe, but she's a fuzzy one, so she's different. She's got like fuzzy leaves, and her stem is kind of fuzzy too. But she bleeds rubber. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lop off her top and let this become her new apex. And that way she still has solar panels here where it's bushy. And we're going to take the top part of this, and because it's going to still have some nodes, as you can see, that's where the roots will come out. So I will go ahead and look for my rooting powder. And when I cut that, I'm going to go ahead and stick the bottom of it. I'll put it in some rooting powder, and then I'm going to stick it in a pot and see if I can propagate that and she'll grow roots. That one I have actually crossed by Ben, and he does agree with me that we need to do that to see if I can get that to go, because see, the bigger ones, I've never done it with Josephina. I've never tried to propagate her yet. And with Joe, when I tried to do Joe the one time, it didn't end up working. So the clipping actually died, which is odd because all my other clippings, if I do stick them in soil, they do grow. So we're going to do Josephina first, see how that works out. And then if that works out, sometime next summer or sometime next year, then I'll end up going ahead and probably giving her the clipping away, just because we have too many plants. Or, well, there's no such thing as too many plants. I just don't have space for them all. And with her being a tree, that's the reason that I'm going to cut off her limbs and leave her bushy on the top so she can continue to grow upwards, because I want her to be like she's supposed to and be an actual tree. So we're going to do that with her and see how that works out. Let's see, I had something else. Oh, and you can, and I will probably even, I'll probably even label that one. When I do the forest, I will probably label it pruning of the forest, because that is way overgrown and needs to be pruned severely. So we're going to do that just so that way I can get it pruned up and it's not being walked into, because right now it's in the bathroom and we're walking into it. It's in the way. And because it has so many leaves on the bottom, the cats are eating it. So I need to prune that up and get that situated and see what we can do about that. Right now, what I'm doing is filtering water for the dogs. And that is what led me to the next thing I'm going to tell you about. And that is, there we go. And the next thing I'm going to tell you about is that, about the dog's dinner recently. We have had a couple of things in the freezer for a little while, and I had to make some room, and I got this genius idea that we wanted to get a couple of big orders of meat from somewhere and trim it up, and that way we can freeze it for this winter. And so when I started going through the freezer and emptying that out, I found some meat that was freezer burned. We had some chicken breast in there that was freezer burned. And instead of throwing it out, and obviously we're not going to eat it because it's freezer burned and it tastes terrible. So what I did was I stuck the chicken in a pot of water. And I think there was only, what was there? Maybe 3 or 4 pieces. So there wasn't much. But I stuck all 4 of those pieces into a pot of water and I boiled it. Here in our location with our elevation, our water boils at 212 degrees. So, and the temperature, I just walked away from that and I wanted to tell you about that. And the temperature that it has to be in order for chicken to be cooked, the internal temperature has to be 165 degrees. So, and so what I did was I boiled it for, I don't know, I got it to a rolling boil. I boiled it for probably about 10 minutes. And then I took this handy dandy little meat thermometer that I think we got it at probably Walmart or something. I don't remember. It's got a magnet on it. it's convenient. It sticks on the side of the refrigerator, right next to the stove. So when I'm testing all of our food for temperature-wise to make sure it's right, it's convenient because it sits right there. So I cooked the chicken. I shredded the chicken. I gave the chicken to the girls, for the dogs, that is, for a dinner. Like, you guys, if you guys have seen the videos where I was prepping and explaining my girls' routines and everything, because we had somebody coming to house sit, you'll know that my dogs are spoiled rotten. And they do get some human food, but we're very strict on what they get. We've done a lot of research on what is good and what is not good. So I shredded the chicken. They had the shredded chicken for dinner one night. And then I preserved some of the chicken, the water. That's kind of like a broth. But I took all the water, I let it cool down, and then I put it in glass jars, and I stuck it in the refrigerator. And I was just showing you Josephina, so it's right here. And then what I do is, let's turn. I have a puppy pad that I lay on the floor, and they just got done eating. So this is a little platter thing with an edge on it. And so what I do is I put this down in the living room floor and on the puppy pad, and I pour some of the chicken juice in that, and all three of the girls can drink that for a treat or during the day for a snack. Although, chicken is a bird. And so with a bird, you have to remember that your dogs will get the same kind of sort of effect as you do. Like when you eat Thanksgiving turkey, or when you eat Christmas turkey, or you eat too much chicken, then you get sleepy. And that's what happened. I gave the girls some chicken water, and they took a nap. So we also had some steak that had been in there. It was at the bottom of the freezer, all the way at the back. So, of course, it got overlooked. And so I found that, and it was really bad freezer burnt. But it was nice, good, healthy steaks. And I think we got those on sale at Yugo or something. We got a good deal on them, so we got some decent steaks. But since they were freezer burnt, then what I did was I unthawed them. I put them in a pot of water, brought them to a boil. Now with beef, because it was beef steaks from a cow, with beef, the internal temperature has to be between 140 and 145. Now that's according to all the information I've ever looked up. But that depends on how well you want your steak done too. Well, for me, because it's been in there for so long and I'm giving it to my dogs, I want it to be at the highest temperature, which is 145. So I boiled it for a good 10 minutes at a rolling boil. And then I checked the internal temperature. It read 145. I turned the burner off and let it cool. And then once it was cooled, there was only 2 steaks, because it's only the 2 of us. So there was 2 steaks, but I let them boil and everything, and then I let them cool off. They were pretty decent sized steaks. They did not have bones in them. So once they cooled off, then what I did was I cut one of the pieces up, just like if I was going to cut it up and eat it myself. I chopped it up into little pieces or squares, whatever, and I gave that to the girls. Now, steak is good for your dogs. So is chicken. I also saved the steak juice, the water that I boiled it in, because when you're cooking it, you're going to cook some of the nutrients out of it, especially if you're boiling it. Now, remember, when I'm making meat or the sweet potatoes that I cook for them, or the pumpkin, or All the foods that I'm cooking for my animals, I do not add seasoning to. Some seasonings are very toxic for your dogs. Like onion and garlic, your dogs should not have onion and garlic. It is bad for them. Same way with a cat. It is bad for them. It will give them an illness. I can't even talk. Illness that can cause some severe issues. Some of the seasonings are detrimental and deadly. So they just get it plain. No ruckus. Just go out there and go potty and come right back, please. So they get it plain, but I saved the water for that too. And so tonight they had the second steak. And I did go ahead and put a little bit of the steak water on top of their food. They loved it. They ate it all up. They did not come out of their cage until they ate it all up. Now with meats, I do separate the girls and I feed them in their food bowls, their individual food bowls, and I let them eat that. So that way I know they're not going to fight over that or get aggressive. So those are just a couple of the things that they've had for dinner. Like I said, they do get pumpkin. I usually will bake the pumpkin, let it cool. I cut the pumpkin, I gut it, I save the seeds and the innards, and I put them, oh, that's a bad spot there. I put them on a platter, just like the one I just showed you, and I let them eat the innards and the seeds. That's a snack for them. Then I bake the pumpkin, and it's a sweet pumpkin. It's a pumpkin pie pumpkin. No spices, remember. So I bake the pumpkin. I let it cool. I take the shell off of it because they can't have the shell. And then I take the pumpkin and I mash it up like you mash potatoes. And I give that to them. Now, I don't give them a lot. Like, a pumpkin is usually 2 or 3 servings for 3 dogs. So they'll eat that pumpkin. They'll eat that pumpkin and I'll give each of them a good sized serving, depending on the size of the dog. And then they still have 1 or 2 more servings after that. And then with the sweet potatoes, you have to peel the sweet potatoes. And then I dice them up and I boil them. They don't get the sweet potato water, which I just never really thought about doing that, which I probably should. But then I take the sweet potatoes and I mash them up most of the time. Sometimes I'll give them to them raw. They really don't like to eat them chunked up and hard. They rather have them soft. So they get those. Carrots. That's a really bad view. Sorry. They get carrots. Hey, get out of back there. You don't belong in my backyard. Chance, go potty. She's out there hunting. I'm not sure if she's hunting a skunk or a possum, because that seems to be the 2 things that we have around here that the girls like to go after, and they're in the back 40. But I give them carrots. I do peel the carrots, and then I will either give them to them whole. They don't care how I give them to them. I can chop them up into, slice them into pieces. I can cook them so they're soft or partially soft. I can even steam them. No matter how I give them the carrots, they'll eat those. They love carrots, no matter how it's done. Cucumbers are really good for dogs too. Pumpkins and cucumbers are good because the seeds in them will help their gut, their digestive, and it also helps deworm them. You can give dogs, you can give them green beans, but my girls haven't seemed to like the green beans, and I think it's because I gave them to them raw. So, and they were in the refrigerator, so they were cold, and it was foreign to them, so they really didn't know what that was. So, but we're going to start giving them more green beans too, because that's really good for them. And I want to change it up so they're not always having just orange things, because they seem to get a lot of orange vegetables. But anyways, so that's that, and that's what I really wanted to talk to you about. Come on, Chance. Do your business and get in the house. There you are. Good. Thank you. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to let you know about. The girls have been spoiled recently because I'm cleaning out the freezer. And so their dinners are consisting of all kinds of good stuff. And then, of course, I wanted to go ahead and let you know about the upcoming videos. Again, I got to do the one on astrology for November. I've got to do the one on the Yi Jing, which is, I got 15 pages of notes on that one, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it as far as the video. So I got to do that yet. We're going to prune up a couple of more plants. I'll probably do another video on the water insanity that I have going on because now it's winter time. I do have one, excuse me, Sister So had brought up, let's see if I can find the list. Sister So had brought up a couple of things that I take as common sense because it's the way I was raised or the way I was taught. But just like the dishes one. But she has asked me if I could do a couple of videos. One on how to find a stud in the wall. Which I'll have to do that when I know that the girls aren't going to go crazy as soon as I knock on the wall. Let's see. Yeah, to find a stud on the wall so that you can hang something or put a nail in there. So I'll have to do one on that. I'll probably just spill that in with something else that I'm doing a video on. And then the adequate times and why I do my laundry different according to the seasons. Like I wash my laundry according to the seasons. It's fall. It's cold out. I'm washing laundry. Why? Because as soon as I'm done washing it, I'm going to dry it. It keeps the house warm, so then the heater doesn't have to kick on yet. So, just like I said, to me, common sense things. Also, probably going to be one that's rather long, because I'll just sit down and jabber. I'm trying to get a place where I can pull the whiteboard out and actually show you an example instead of just telling you. Or I might just sit down and make notes so that I can show it to you on a piece of paper so you understand. But on scheduling and timing to have some order and structure to your day, especially if you have children, because that's how I grew up. Along with the scheduling is also going to be, I don't want to call it budgeting because it's really not budgeting, but it's like teaching your kids how to do things and getting rewards for it so that they are, when you raise a kid to get up and get dressed and then, you take your pajamas off, you put your clothes on for the day. What do you do with your pajamas? Well, you put them in the basket. Simple things that become a routine, so then when the child gets on their own, they already have that kind of knowledge and know-how. So they're not clueless as to how to live life. And that goes along with, that's part of the scheduling. And like I said, I don't want to call it budgeting, but just teaching kids how to do things and then giving them rewards for doing them. Because as you're giving them rewards, like my mom did, she gave us money for doing our chores. And so we went by a point system that then went by money. But then with that money, you can teach your children how to budget things. And that way, as a kid, you see something in the store you want, well, then we analyze. How much does it cost? How much do I have to save up on my allowance or my chore money to be able to get that special toy I want? It teaches them how to budget and save their money. It helps them understand the structure of finances and, how to spend your money, how to save your money, how to think and make wise decisions on what you're purchasing, not to squander your money on silly things that are just going to get broken a day or what have you, So, that's going to be a longer video, but that's actually one that I've got on the list as well. And those are the only ones on that list. I do have another list somewhere because her and I got on this huge rant about it for 2 days. We were talking about all kinds of stuff. So, but like I said, for me, those are things that I think are common sense because that's the way I was raised. I was raised in a big family. I'm the oldest of 7. So, so she was raised in a small family and she has a little guy who's 6. And so she's trying to teach him, okay, when you're done eating, what do you do with your dishes? You don't just leave them on the table. You have to clean them off, put them in the dishwasher or what have you, wash your dishes, where to, how to put your clothes away, how to fold your clothes. All those things are things that I was raised doing at a very young age. And then that goes into, which will spill into as well, is the Great Try-On. So, that's what I'll tell you about that, but I'll explain that more when we get into that video. But those are just a few things that I wanted to get done, and let you know those are the things that are on my list of the future videos. I'm hoping to be able to get them done because I actually have a list now. When I'm going to get to those, God only knows. Especially because Ben's got a wonky shift or wonky work days and hours and everything. And now it's getting fall, so I do have a little bit more time. But at the same time, I'm still trying to put the kitchen back together and rearrange that, especially because I had to bring all my plants in. And then, of course, kind of back to the Great Try-On, it's fall, so fall season, we have to go through our clothes and find out, start bringing out our warmer clothes because it's getting cold out, so we want to bring out our cold weather clothes to keep warm. So, and I might just do a whole video on that. Who even knows? But those are just a couple of things that that I have in mind for the future. I usually do not plan on what kinds of videos I'm doing or anything, but I have had a lot of conversations with So, and she seems to think that it'd be better if I had a list since it's getting cooler out and I have more time to do things. So that's what we're going to do. So anyway, I hope that this was kind of useful or helpful to you so you know or have an idea as to a couple of the videos that are coming up. So that way, if there's one that you're not interested in, then you don't have to watch it. I mean, don't feel obligated to watch everything. I mean, it's nice, even if you just push the play and walk away and let me ramble on. It helps with views and my timing and everything with YouTube. But if you don't want to, that's fine. I don't care. I appreciate you watching, but if it's not your cup of tea, then hey, don't feel obligated. So those are just a couple of things that I have in mind to get done here in the near future. So there you have it. So if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe so that you do get all these videos and you stay plugged in. Subscribers help me get higher, and once I get so many subscribers, then I can actually start possibly making some money on my YouTube videos. But this is mostly, my YouTube videos are just for me to keep track of things, like when I'm pruning the trees and the plants. It helps freshen my memory as to how to prune them, what I had planned for them, especially with my bonsais. You know, when I last pruned them or changed their soil and stuff like that. It's just basically for me to keep track of things. I don't go back and rewatch many of my videos until it's this kind of season and it's time for me to start pruning. So then I'll go back and I'll rewatch. Okay, well, this is Ant-Man. How did I do Ant-Man? What were my thoughts? So that I'm not always changing them up. With Hitchhiker, I am going to be changing him up because the plans I had for him are not going to work. But, and that's the good thing. That's the positive thing about having a bonsai is you can change things up and it will adapt to your new ideas. So that's what I got for you for tonight. I'm exhausted. This time change has really messed me up. But, yeah, like my videos and subscribe. That helps the algorithm. That helps me boost my YouTube channel. Remember, you are somebody. You do matter. I love you. I thank you very much for watching my videos, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, ciao now.